Welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And let's just spend time together, learning, growing, exploring. I'm playing with a filter, so I don't know how this is turning out. Plus, the lighting's a little bit weird. Hmm. Holy cow. Now I have dirt in my eyes. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to talk about, and today I was at work, and so a customer came in and I started telling her about how I connected with the presence, the I am presence. And when I was talking about it, I started to receive a download, and there was like an emotional moment because the energy was like affecting me. And the day before was a whole nother story. It was, I was bored, 4th of July, my family's doing their own thing, and I'm stuck in the city, and I don't know if I want to reconnect with family or friends or anyone. And I was like, let's meditate and play with crystals. And I kind of had some good moments there. And then I felt like I crashed deep down. And then I knew what was happening. All this spiritual light and energy I was absorbing, and then the expansion you see, and the magnetism you draw forth, you draw up the stuff that has to be cleared, which is everything. So, all your history, all your life experience gets cleared eventually. You know, it's a kind of a, you're clearing the lens. And so the journey is a lifetime. You have to cleanse the mirror, or cleanse, you have to cleanse the vessel, the lens. All the time, you have to be aware. So a spiritual practice, a lot of it has to do with purification. There's superficial religious ceremonial rites, rituals, um, but they become more powerful as you work with a ritual, like maybe over a year or so. A simple ritual goes deeper and deeper into your subconscious, and creating a portal, or like a pathway. So that's one reason why ritual can actually open you up to what we call psychic abilities. That was a little bit of a tangent, because what was going on in my mind before I started this video, as I was like eating my lunch slash dinner, um, I was thinking about like one of my favorite books, and it was on African shamanism. And I remember reading it when I was in my early 20s. And what a amazing book it was. It was like, it transported me back in time. I felt like I was really with a culture of magic. Um, and there was no one around to tell me how that was supposed to look. I read it and assumed, my mind created the images, my mind created all of it. There was no one telling me this is how it is. So it was, I felt very raw, very real. And and looking at the situation going on today with spirituality, magic and spirituality, it's missing roots. It's missing a magical, mythical culture that you just can't fabricate. You can't borrow it. Like it has to, I mean, I guess on a deeper sense, you do, but it has to grow over time. And so, patience uh, of developing your practice, your magical craft, um, and then you have to gain experience on how your mind works, how your body works, how when you are in communication with the universe, how that's working and the results. And so, you know, it takes a while to create a magical connection, a communion with the I am presence, with the universe, with the magical current. And so you have to, in a weird way, be constantly working on it. It's more than a lifestyle. It's a and more than a livelihood. It is a way of being and a way of becoming the wizard, a way of becoming the magician. Uh, so it's a continual evolution, and it's a type of spirituality, but I would say it's a little bit logical. It's a little more practical. And so there's so much that books can't teach you that you have to do out in the field. You have to do, you learn more in your practice, your rituals. You learn. And so I say ritual as just a word that we can all kind of go, oh yeah, magic rituals, you know. But really, in a Western mind, we think all magic is ritualistic. And in a way it is, but it's also not. The wizard has to go through a transformation and develop such a relationship with magic that everything they do, in a way, is a conjuring, is a is a magical work. So I prefer magic over religion. I prefer magic in a weird way over spirituality, and magic even over psychology. And so a lot of people won't do uh, maybe psychedelic mushrooms unless they feel it's going to be psychologically transforming. So they need a justification. Why am I doing this? Because I'm going to use psychology to navigate my mind, heal my inner child, work with my archetypes, and then maybe do workshops with other people, and we'll all do like psychedelics together, for consciousness expansion slash religious agendas slash psychological agendas. And that's a motive. Your motive is kind of your agenda. And I feel like that closes doors. So some people can't give themselves permission to do magic for magic's sake. So a lot of people will be like, okay, I'm going to use healing. I'm going to use energy to heal people. I'm going to be an energy healer. So the motive is I want to work with the power. But the only way I'll give myself permission to work with it is if it's in a healing modality. Because I have some more, I bought in, I've subscribed to some morality on energy that it needs to be used for healing purposes. And so a lot of the beliefs, a lot of the a lot of everything we subscribe to, it's handed to you. And then you choose to believe it and make it a part of your personality. So a lot of what we do is just affirming the beliefs to affirm our ego personality. So there's a whole bunch of all this doing to just affirm why we're doing who we are and then why we're doing it. And I feel like we can get really lost in everything we do just affirming ourselves, our purpose. So you're doing healing stuff to affirm that you're a healer and your life purpose is to heal the world and raise the vibration of the planet. And I feel like you don't have to do that. You can just be curious. You can just want to connect. So I think it's really important for everyone on the spiritual path. I'm using that in a very broad term, kind of the all-inclusive term. You know, all paths are one. They all lead to the same place. Um, I'm using it. It's just like it's good to reflect and go, why am I doing this? Because when you're a teenager, your motives are going to be different than when you're an adult. And when you're an adult going into old age, your motives are different. Your needs are different. Your value, you see the world differently if you allow yourself to grow. So, in a really weird way, I wanted to learn about energy. I wanted to learn about more immortality. And the only venues, the only ones offering any information, were trying to do psychic healing, meditation. So it's like religion and spirituality had some teachings, but it had all this information that you were supposed to subscribe to. And I knew, I was like, I want to work with energy, but I don't want to be a healer. I want to master meditation, but I don't want to be a Buddha. Like, I don't want salvation. I'm not looking for nirvana. I'm not looking for bliss. You know, sure, I'll play with Christianity, but doesn't mean I want to go to heaven. And doesn't mean I'm a fan of Jesus. So, nor will I worship Jesus. That's, in my mind, totally giving your power away and not even what Jesus would want. So, that even kind of started going in the wrong direction. So, maybe your motive for learning could just be for the joy of learning. The motive for magic is the joy of magic, like playing with it, being amused by it, being curious about it. And I feel like we get a lot farther on the magical path when we do that. It's like when you try for something, an equal amount of forces resisting pushing back, so you like go nowhere. But if you're just playing and you're open, then these wonderful accidents happen and things might go your way and you might discover something. So for me, magic is very much about discovery. And what's really interesting is it's so unique for everyone. Uh, what inspired me to think about magic as a reality, like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, Western mindset wasn't thinking magic as a reality. Scientists were just going, you know what? When we work these computer programs, when we go deeper and deeper into science, we confess that it's magical, that we can't explain why things work. It becomes more magical. When you work with numbers, they become more magical. So there's a point where. So let's just pause for a moment. The definition of magic. is the science of tomorrow. So, in a weird way, magicians are on the front line of exploring. And these methods that seem non logical and with no sense seem magical. And then we figure them out and we understand them, we formulate them, and then it becomes science. A modern example is Joe Dispenza's heart brain coherence, uh, teaching everyone to tap into gamma wave brain activity, which is what mystics and meditators have learned to do. Uh, and some people naturally do. But with all these brain scans, heart scans, and research done with Heart Math Institute and their own research, they figured out a basic formula. And so, literally, that is magic, these like religious spiritual meditations that trained people to get into gamma wave activity, becoming something formulated, standard, a ritual, making it basic for everyone to use, and now it's science. So now everyone can do it. So the law of attraction, you could say, basically is straight out of Western occult magic, which was all about visualization, attracting, and the mirror like nature of reality. So the information, the knowledge is there, it's just repackaged and it's given new words uh, to work with. So you could be doing magic, but you didn't realize it the whole time. So, attention, awareness of what it's like awareness. When you're in your ritual, okay, I would say a novice is really focused on results. I want my boyfriend, or I want revenge, or I want what I want. Wah. Baby talk. You know, that sells books and it attracts the ego and might start you down on the path. But then when you're doing magic for magic's sake, uh, you're wanting to become more aware. You become more aware of what's going on in the ritual. The ritual does you. I learned that when I was doing a hex once, uh, like an elaborate mind trap. And I was like, this is happening to me and through me. As above, so below. As within, so without. And I had a few really powerful experiences with the self realization of what I'm attempting to do to someone else, I do to myself first. And if I can't do it to myself, I can't do it to somebody else. As above, so below. As within, so without. The mirror like nature of reality. So when I was trying to mind trap someone, I realized I had to move through the labyrinth of the labyrinth sigil I was making and working with. I had to move through the dimensions. And so luckily, since I'm the creator of it and I was moving through the whole process, obviously I got out. Um, but then I realized a lot. I was like, wow. Another time I was doing some like kind of like banishing warfare magic. And the the protection, I don't like the word protection, but it was like my my magical space was so fortified that the actual spell couldn't leave my space. And so then it like backfired on me. And I was like, is the person I'm sending this to super powerful or have guides? What's going on? And then I was like, oh, I accidentally reversed all that upon myself because I did it in a protected space. So the energy couldn't release. It was like firing off a gun in a bulletproof room. And so the bullet just was like, and so magic can be really dangerous. Involving other people can be hazardous to your health. So I feel like there's a point where everyone does black magic. And that we go, oh, I'm not doing black magic. And I'm like, you're serving yourself. Yes, you are. You are enticed by your ego, your personality, the lust for power and knowledge, the maybe gaining over others. Who knows what it was? However, we made it beautiful. With holy crosses and angel wings, with prayers and scripts from the Bible, you're still doing black magic. Because in the end, it's there to serve you. I feel like it transforms into higher magic when you become curious about the workings of how things work, and you realize you have to participate with the universe, and the universe is participating with you. Co-creation is a really bad word, but right now it's the only word I can think of. But I learned so much. Like, so a ritual is you sitting in meditation. It's the time, it's the breathing, it's the posture. Those are all elements of the ritual, making a technique. You doing it, and you get a result, which might be a relaxed state of mind, a focused state of mind, heightened awareness, whatever it is. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes you have to tweak it. It's like a it's like a car that you know really well that has problems. And so you need to bring some radiator fluid. You need to maybe jimmy the door to make it stay shut. All the things that are kind of broken. You have to tinker with it during the whole journey. If someone else was driving the car, it wouldn't work. They would push the gas on too hard. They wouldn't, like, you have to be able to finesse it. It's like your vehicle is almost like a living being, it's like a pet. And you can get to point A to point B and maybe take it on a risky journey farther than you should, you know, but someone else driving it wouldn't know how to do that. And so it would break down. You couldn't take it on a long trip, and you couldn't entrust it with someone else. That's kind of like what meditation's like. That's like what a ritual is like. That's like what doing magic is like. Like, you have to finesse it. Your room, your magical space, your tools. And so it takes a lot of what I call loving care of your supplies, and so patience and enjoying the journey of the development, like, and how you evolve. Suddenly you're doing magic all the time, but it has nothing to do with anybody else. It has everything to do with your own personal wisdom gained, knowledge gained, power gained, through the learning of self awareness, self realization, and the self actualizing. This magical self actualizing in this world, being able to do things in extraordinary ways, in simplistic yet profound ways. This is like what we see with the wizard. He picks up a stick, he waves it around, and then something happens. We don't understand the mechanics behind it, so it looks like magic. It looks like a miracle. So this is a lot where religion calls it a miracle, and people use the word magic like a miracle. It's a phenomenon beyond your awareness and understanding. But the wizard knows the mechanics behind. There's an awareness, a knowledge, and an art form to it. And so it's something they can repeat, usually, depending upon what it is. Sometimes they're once in a lifetime. And the wizard knows that. They go, oh, the stars aligned plus this. I happen to be at the right mental state plus the stars, and I happen to have the right equipment. And so some rituals, some moments in magic are once in a lifetime. It Everything aligned up for that one moment and it worked. There's a lot of that actually. So there's that weird balance again. Even though you can repeat it, you can never go to that exact moment again. There's things that aren't exactly the same. You're a day older now. You now have wisdom in your head of that it worked the first time. So now it's a different brain. It's a different you trying to do the ritual again. That very fact makes it the elements have changed. So magic is living. It's not, and that's probably the real frustration about reality. In a simulation, you can repeat it over and over and over again and things aren't really changing. But in life, in real time, things change. Nothing, you can't go back to the same moment. Things are altered. And if it's not the outer environment, it's the inner environment. You have changed. Everything that you do changes you. So when you gain that type of awareness, you then probably do things differently. So right now, in this stage in my life, I feel like I've moved out of the power stage where I needed to demonstrate and prove to the world about magic and what it can do, psychic abilities and what you can do. And now I'm moving into healing and enlightenment and deepening awareness and thinking about giving something back to this world that how can I alter the world in a very simple way? And I actually think it's just getting into alignment with cosmic energy, bringing it in and just dumping it on the earth, just pouring it out. Knowing that that energy will go to people and grow their minds, grow their intelligence, open them up. You have to have more energy to wake up. You have to have more energy to think bigger thoughts, to expand your consciousness, to increase your vision. You need more energy. And it's like we're in a civilization, a world where all we do is use energy, but we don't know how to bring it in. Higher energy. Like, I mean, it's a that was kind of a bold basic statement that we can butcher, but there's so many people who don't understand how to bring in spiritual energy, magical, I would just say spiritual energy, higher energy. It's different and it's made for the spirit, it's made for the soul. And once you taste it, that's all you crave. Like nothing is as tasty as spiritual energy. from the spiritual planes. So we can change the world just by changing the energy. Let's call that good.